Well, today I'm in the 2017 Audi S3, and this is a sedan sports car. It competes with the Golf R primarily, and I guess if you want a Subaru RX, you'll also be considering buying this vehicle. I mean, it's very fast, that I must say. It's something that it's a lot of fun to drive. We drove it from Kingston to St. Thomas, and that's probably 50 kilometers worth of driving. It was very good, very fast. It gives you speed on demand, and has a little, some practicality function. One thing that stands out first about this car when I got into it were the phantom seats. So these are the phantom seats that are in the Audi S3. They're very nice. The design is extremely lovely. If you just got this part right here, it reminds me of a cobra snake. The bolsters come around and wrap around your body really nice, so that feels very good. And you can adjust multiple things. You have good lumbar support right here. You can extend the base of the seat right here for the longer persons, who are the taller persons, I should say, who are sitting at the front. So that's a really nice feature right there. I kind of wish that it was perforated though. Sometimes it does feel a little bit slippery when I'm sitting there. And Audi has this signature thing on most of the brands where you can adjust the headrest by making it protrude to your liking, and I kind of wish that it would have been on this one as it pertains to the headrest. But overall, I mean, they're really lovely seats. They were designed for the driver in mind, and you're going to feel that. If you're over 5'10", I don't know if this car is necessarily going to be a good fit for you. But for persons between 5'2" and 5'10", it's going to be a really lovely ride. Despite the fact that this is a sedan, which is a very small car in the auto world, it does come with rear climate control, which is very good, especially for the backseat passengers. They are going to love this. There's a nice armrest here as well, and it's adjustable in the center console, which makes it feel very comfortable, especially when you're in traffic. You have to be concerned about that. The overall look of the car for me is more elegance and speed. It doesn't scream aggression if you are driving this vehicle, but perhaps you're an exec that don't want that aggressive look. Maybe you just want to have a vehicle that you can also carry to a meeting, and you can carry it to on the highway and just speed and just drive with it. I kind of wish I took it to St. Anne as opposed to St. Thomas, because sometimes when you have to deal with the potholes, which are a real thing here, it kind of dampens the mood of the ride, because you're kind of jerking up a little bit here and there. So I had to keep the vehicle in comfort mode. However, when you put it in dynamic mode, it really begins to feel extremely aggressive, and the muffler now starts to become uncensored, meaning that when you gear up, it makes a grunt, and also surprisingly when you gear down, it also makes a grunt. So that's something that I think some drivers going like. I don't know if I like that it makes a sound when you're gearing down. I like just when it makes a sound when you're gearing up. When you're driving this car, sometimes you're going really fast and you don't know. That's because there is very little road noise. If you even look at the side mirrors, I mean, they're designed in such an aerodynamic way that a lot of the wind don't come towards you, but it goes away from you. So you don't hear a lot of road noise. And sometimes, especially for me as a driver, I judge how fast I'm driving by just the road noise. But it's a good thing, because it basically isolates you from what is happening outside. So you have to be mindful of constantly looking at the speedometer. Now, we don't have the virtual cockpit in this model. We have the regular speed gauges. However, I mean, it's quite sufficient for me, because it also has a pop-up LED screen, which, by the way, is not touchscreen. As you know, most German vehicles not going to give you a touchscreen, but it is sufficient with everything that it needs to have. Overall, as a fun thing, one of my gripes though is the fact that the storage space is a bit small. If you look in the glove compartment is a bit small right there. And because the steering wheel, the leather around the steering wheel isn't perforated, sometimes your sweat can kind of build up and it gets a little bit slippery. But overall, this was a lovely vehicle to drive. anybody who is driving is going to have fun, especially when on the highway.
Hi, I'm Damian Carr, Head of Business, Audi. The main features of the Audi S3 is first of all, the S signifies that it's a sports car and it's very fast. The performance on this car is 292 horsepower, and that is really the biggest selling point. It's fantastic in terms of the aesthetics. The Audi S3 is compact, sleek but sexy, and sporty with the exhaust and the flarings, especially when you look at the honeycomb grille at the front. I would also have to say the MMI feature here with the Bang & Olufsen sound system is probably the best sound system you're ever going to hear in this market. It also has a feature where the faster you go, the louder it gets, and that's a tremendous sort of sound that you get from this car. In terms of the handling, the car suspension is manufactured in such a way that you can literally go around corners at the speed of light, and that's not just exaggeration. Can't tell you that I've done it, because we don't want to encourage any dangerous driving, but and also the car has what I would consider a great feature: the fact that the chance to you can change the gears like it's a manual car using the paddle shifters on the steering, or similar to your standard shift, you use the gear lever and change your gears. So you get that sporty feel in a car that goes up to 250 kilometers per hour in no time.
So Damian, I'm actually going to put you on the spotlight a little bit and cause you to take off that marketing hat, right? I noticed for this one you didn't go with the virtual cockpit. I suspect probably it's just to keep prices down, because a lot of persons don't know that for us to bring in cars, the duty is extremely high. Like, I know sometimes the dealers try to get that price in a sweet bracket for the buyer.
Yeah, this model doesn't come with a virtual cockpit, but the very next model S3 that we will bring to Jamaica will come with the virtual cockpit. Obviously it's an optional feature, but the virtual cockpit is one of those new technologies that Audi has brought to the fore and getting rave reviews internationally. True,
I agree with that. Let me ask you something. When you're driving it around town, what do you keep it on? Comfort mode or dynamic?
So when I'm driving it around town, I usually keep it on comfort mode.
And you're from Mobile, right? So you have driven this to Mobile already, right?
I've driven it to Mobile a couple of times, and the S mode works brilliantly along the highway. I've also driven it.
So on the highway, that's supposed to take us 1 hour to Race. It took you.
Some things you really can't say out loud, but let's just say I've done it in less than half the time.
Okay. Okay, then no problem with that. We noticed that with this one, it has rear AC. Right, and does that come standard with all of them? Like,
we do have the rear AC vents as standard in all our S3 models.
Very interesting, very interesting. With the front seat, in terms of the front seat options, I know that some stuff are still manual. Why keep some stuff still manual in the front seat?
I'm gonna tell the truth. This car is a sports car.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily made to fit that luxury car bracket like an A6.
Okay.
It's a sports car in and out. And so with a sports car, you get the manual seats with the sports seat because, well, first of all, as a sport driver, you want to be able to move your seats quickly. And one of the things that you don't get with an electrical option is that it doesn't move as quickly as you need it to move it in terms of moving the seat. But also, once I set this as the driver of this car, I'm not moving it.
Okay, cool. So you keep it that way, right?
I mean, usually once you set your seat, that's your seat setting, and that remains unless somebody else is going to drive your car. But I don't see too many people giving this car out to drive just by virtue of the fact that it's a beast of a machine.